I'm Davy. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. So in the previous video, I talked about what it's really like while talking in your sleep. This week, I'm going to talk about a condition that, as far as I know, only I have. To this day, I've never met anybody else that does this. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I do it. I don't know if it's like a medical condition or something, but it does happen to me. So if it happens to you, tell me. I sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes, have a dream that of course I'll remember because I'll wake up and it will take me a while to snap back into reality. Like obviously this usually happens when I was really tired, really exhausted and went to bed. And more often than not, it's one of those situations, when you're so tired that you lay down and let's say it's like 10 o'clock at night, you roll over and you look over at the clock and suddenly it's 2 in the morning. It's usually that kind of a situation. But again, unlike most days when you wake up and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done sleeping, my brain doesn't register that I ever did sleep, just registers that what I just dreamt about happened. And usually when this rare moment occurs, it only takes me a couple minutes to snap back into reality. Sometimes it can take several minutes. One of the lucky things about this, though, is most of the times I've done this, nobody else is around, it's just me. So when I do snap back into reality, nothing embarrassing happened. But there have been exactly 3 times in my life that wasn't the case. 2 of those have been with my wife, because obviously, the earliest I remember it starting, when I was a teenager, I had my own room, so nobody around to embarrass myself about. Or when I was younger and lived on my own or with roommates, again, my own room, nobody around, so I was able to snap back into it. My wife, though, has twice experienced this out of me, because I don't have my own room anymore. The worst one, though, I was a teenager, and my brother and I were sharing a room. I'll get to that. The first one that my wife ever experienced, she didn't really know about it yet. Like I talked about it, I had told her the story with my brother, but she never experienced it, and this was her first time experiencing it. So in my dream, once a year my wife will take the kids and they'll go visit her family in California without me. And it's actually kind of nice and healthy. I get the house to myself for a few days, we get time to really miss each other so that when she comes back, we're all lovey-dovey. And heck, even the experts say it's not a bad thing to take vacations away from each other once in a while. This year, she'd already done that vacation, but for some reason, this night, in my dream, while she was on vacation, she met another guy, called me and told me, sorry, I'm leaving you for this guy, and I'm taking the kid. We only had one at the time. And in this long, elaborate dream that didn't feel like I ever woke up from, to be in my son's life, I had to pack up in Nevada, move to California, which I really didn't want to do, because I've lived in California twice in my life and never enjoyed it. Went from living in a decent, affordable apartment to an unaffordable piece of crap little trailer, and basically resented the crap out of my wife and hated her. Now we come to me waking up and not realizing it. Now around this time, I was already a graveyard person, and it was my night off, so I had gone to sleep late afternoon, woke up, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and my wife was in the front room still awake. Now I know you're like, wait a minute, as a mom, shouldn't she be asleep? Sometimes she stays up late because, well, poor mothers, that's the only time they ever get to themselves. My poor unsuspecting wife, who was completely clueless, had no idea what was going on, is just sitting there watching something, and I come in the front room staring daggers into her. Like, hey baby, what's wrong? Now, the entire time this goes on until I snap back into it, I did not say a word to her. Probably because I was in that tired state when you wake up and you can't really form words yet. You can only look at people, maybe grunt a little bit. But if I could have said anything, it would have gone even worse. Because I remember things I was thinking, and I'll respond accordingly. So after she asks, what's wrong? What do you mean, what's wrong? The hell are you doing in my home? But again, I don't say anything. I'm just staring at her. And she continues, baby, are you okay? Am I okay? No, I'm not okay. I haven't been okay since you left me 2 years ago. What are you doing in my home? Watching my TV? Well, you just letting yourself in now? Baby, what's the matter? You know damn well what's the matter. You took me from the state I actually like living in to living in this crap hole trailer out here because you left me for some guy who I don't know if has a name. Because here was something that didn't snap me into reality. I never knew the guy's name. The guy's name was never mentioned in my dream. Taking my son from me and everything. I trusted you, loved you, and you betrayed me. Sometimes in my head I sound like Sean Connery. Honey, you're freaking me out. What's wrong? At this point, I didn't say anything else to her. I just walked into the kitchen, completely ignoring her. She's staring at me the whole time because we had a kitchen that was not closed off to the front room. You could see me perfectly. Started making my coffee, and while making my coffee, it finally hits me. My brain finally is like, okay, dude, that was a dream. Look around. This is not a trailer. This is an apartment on the second floor. She did not leave you 2 years ago. The guy you're thinking she left you for has no name. None of this happened. Snap out of it. You're scaring her. At which point I finally did snap out of it. Kind of just held my head, finished making my coffee, sat down, and she again just asks, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just tired. I had a rough dream." "Oh, what was it about?" "I'll tell you later." Now come to think of it, while getting this video ready, I don't think I ever actually told her. At the time, I just didn't want to talk about it. I was weirded out. I was tired. And I think it just never came up again later. I could be wrong, but I don't have any memory of ever telling her about this. So, baby, if you remember that night when I freaked you out staring at you like that, I'm sorry. Second time this ever happened was actually barely 2 months ago. It's what inspired me to do this video. And I'm going to tell it to you in a little bit of a Quentin Tarantino style. I'm going to give you part of the end of this story, and then we're going to fill it in. Where again, it's my day off, I'm editing a video, and my wife sits down because her and a couple of the kids are about to go to Walmart for a little bit, do some shopping. But before she leaves, asks me, "So, who's Sophia?" Now to fill you in. So the night before, again, night off, I'm a graveyarder, I'm already asleep, and I get woken up by our 3-year-old, who I've talked about as the family terrorist. My wife is about to go to bed, and he's screaming and hollering because he doesn't want to go to sleep because he's 3 and they hate sleep for some reason. So much so that they don't like it when other people sleep. And then she comes in to lay down, and I say to her, "Sophia got out." "What?" "Sophia got out. Tell the boys they need to go get her." "What?" "Sophia got out. The boys need to go get her." "What are you talking about?" You know what? I'm done with this. I don't care. Never mind. Now here's the thing about that part, what I said, I have no memory of it. At all. That I'm only telling you because that's what my wife told me I said. But she swears I was looking right at her, eyes wide open, saying this to her. I do remember, though, what she said was not that much longer later, getting up out of bed, in a state you kind of do when somebody wakes you up or something makes you angry and you get up angry, you can feel it. She told me about that. I remember that. I remember I was getting up because I was about to go into my boys' room and yell at them about Sophia. But first, I had to pee. And while peeing, in my mind, decided, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about Sophia. Screw it. I'm just going back to bed. They can cry about it in the morning. And went back to bed angrily. Got up a few hours later. Remembered the part about me getting up and thinking all that. And thinking to myself, good. I didn't do anything stupid or embarrass myself. And I just went on with my day. Went and took a shower. Went and filmed some videos. Started editing. Everything was nice. Until my wife got up and asked me about Sophia. The problem with that is that's all she said was, "Who's Sophia?" I instantly knew who Sophia was and figured I must have said something to her about it. Must have had another one of those instances where I woke up and didn't snap back into reality. But how much did I say? Did I simply mention the name Sophia? Did I say something about Sophia? What did I say? So what was really only like 10 seconds felt very long as I'm sitting there thinking in my head, how do I answer her right now? Does she think Sophia is some woman that I was having a sexy dream about? I don't want to tell her that, but have you ever been in a situation where the truth is so weird and outrageous that you actually want to lie because that would be more believable? That was the situation I was now in. It was just that I didn't want to tell her the truth. She's going to think I'm lying. And not only is she going to think I'm lying, but she's going to think I'm lying to hide something from her. She's going to start thinking, oh, Sophia must be somebody he works with or something that he secretly wants. It's not the case. I don't work with anybody named Sophia. I don't think I've ever worked with anybody named Sophia. I used to work with an old lady named Sophie. So I'm thinking like, okay, should I just tell her that I was dreaming about some girl named Sophia? And who? Sophia Loren? That would work. Definitely not going to leave her for Sophia Loren. She's really old, and only time I would have ever wanted her was before I was even born. She was hot back then, though. But within this 10 seconds of debating, I'm like, you know what? Let's just give the truth a shot. She knew enough from what I was saying that she made the conclusion that I'm sure most of you have made by now, that Sophia must have been a dog. Wasn't. And I told her as such. Honey, obviously this means that I said something to you about what I was dreaming. Yeah, I'll tell you what you said in a minute. First, who's Sophia? Okay. And I swear to you, as I say this, I'm telling you the truth. In my dream, I dreamed about Sophia, who is a pig. A pig? A pig. An actual pig, like pig. In my dream, living in this little apartment, you and the boys, even though I really didn't want it, would not stop bugging me about getting a pet pig. And I finally agreed to a pet pig that you all named Sophia under the condition that I would not take care of Sophia. This was all your responsibilities. I'm not cleaning up after it. I'm not feeding it. Nothing. And in my dream, what made me so mad is that you basically all turned on that, and I ended up being the only one taking care of the pig, Sophia. Feeding that little pig, cleaning that pig, cleaning up after that pig. And constantly this pig would get outside, and I'd have to be the one to go chase it. And before I woke up and stopped having this dream, in my dream, once again, Sophia had gotten out, and I was just at a state of mind of, I give up, I refuse, I'm not getting that damn pig. The boys need to go get it, or the pig is gone forever. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what the dream was. My wife was laughing her butt off. She then told me what I said, and informed me that she assumed that Sophia was a dog, not a pig. And another thing that made my wife laugh is because I had told her about doing this stuff, but this was the first time she remembers ever actually experiencing it on that level. The first time it ever happened where somebody had to experience it, it was my brother. Going back, I was about 18 or 19 years old, so he would have been 19 or 20. We were living in Reno, Nevada, and we had just moved there, and my parents had went from living in a 3-bedroom in Fernley to moving into a tiny 2-bedroom apartment in Reno, meaning that at 18, 19 years old, I had to share a room with my older brother. We hated it. Lasted barely a year, and I kind of think that it was my parents pushing one of us to move out, which I thought was strange because I was already working on moving out. I just didn't have the money. It worked because as soon as I could, I moved out. As soon as I found a place I could afford, which was just a room out of somebody's house, I took it. Because sharing a room at that age, it was hell. Not just for me, but for my brother too. We had no room in that cramped little room. We constantly woke each other up. Because at the time, he didn't have a job, but he had a graveyard mentality. He usually went to bed somewhere in the middle of the night. I usually got up in the morning because I had to go to work. So he would wake me up in the middle of the night going to bed. I would wake him up in the early morning, which was his middle of the night, getting ready for work. And just a lot of things about it irritated us. But I will say he wins on the irritating role because at no point did he ever do anything like this to me. It's my night off, I'm sleeping, he comes in and wakes me up because he's going to watch TV and go to bed. When I wake up, he apologizes for waking me, but then gets weirded out when I ask him, dude, where's Spider? What? What Spider? Now let me tell you something about my brother. We all have our phobias. I'm afraid of heights. Deathly afraid of heights. I get nervous standing on a step stool. My wife is afraid of clowns. My mom was claustrophobic. So much so that she asked us to make sure she was cremated because she couldn't stand the thought of being buried. I'm not making that up. My brother's biggest phobia is he's arachnophobic. He is terrified of spiders. Not to an irrational sense of like if somebody puts a rubber spider around him, he'll freak out. But he can't stand spiders. So when I asked him, where's Spider? He was like, what are you talking about? You see a spider? Spider. Where's Spider? What spider? Where? Not a spider. Spider. Where's Spider? What spider? No. Spider. Where's Spider? What spider? Where? Dude, I know that you're hard of hearing, but will you listen to what I'm saying? Where's Spider? What spider? Oh, forgot. Never mind. Frickin' idiot. This, for over 10 minutes, had my brother freaking out. Like, not getting all nervous and screaming and stuff, but looking around, nervous. Couldn't go to sleep now because he's all up and hyped, because this is the thing about my brother with spiders. If he sees one, he makes a mission, he'll go kill it. If it gets away and he doesn't kill it, like one of those times like you're trying to kill a spider and it crawls up the wall and into a crack or something, that's it for my brother for the night. He can't sleep now. He can't get comfortable, he can't concentrate, because in his mind, he feels it crawling on him. It's like in his mind, the spider is up in that crack in the wall, just staring at him like,
by the end of this day, you'll beg for me to kill you.
In Josh's mind, spiders all sound like Vincent Price. But him, obviously alert, not going to sleep now. About 10 minutes later, I snap back into reality, and I start laughing. What's funny? Dude, you know a few minutes ago when I was asking you where's Spider? Yeah? I've never told you guys about this before because I've never needed to. But once in a very blue moon, I wake up and I had such a lucid dream that I don't snap back into reality for a few minutes. I had a dream, you and I moved out, became roommates, for some reason still bunked in the same room, but we had taken on a third roommate that we'd become best friends with, and we nicknamed him Spider. That's what I was asking you about. I know, I'm sorry. It's just, let me get this straight. You woke up and asked me, where's Spider? Making me think there's a spider around here, and you know how terrified I am of spiders. I was gonna go to sleep, and I can't now, because I'm now all wired. Because I thought there was a spider around here waiting to bite me. You even talked to me like I was stupid. Called me an idiot. Because you had a freaking dream? Yeah, I guess so. My bad. That's my story video this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications when I post videos, and leave a comment. Tell me if you, like me, have ever had trouble snapping back into reality after a very lucid dream. Love you guys.